The spin today was incredible, and it started a bit of a stunt, the Prime Minister acting like Santa Claus in a way the governments actually do like to do. You know, here's this great and generous Prime Minister giving away tickets, this time to Taylor Swift's Sydney concert to some Nova listeners. Tickets he hadn't actually paid for himself, he hadn't worked for, tickets he just got handed by someone else.
I'm calling to give you the news, which I reckon is pretty good news, that you have won tickets to Kate's Sweet Seats. You're off to Taylor Swift. Wow, you've got on Taylor. How good is that? Fantastic. How long have you been trying to get the tickets for?
Like crazy. I've spent probably 50 hours just watching Ticketek go round and round. Thank you so much.
Perfect example of how governments work. Politicians playing with other people's property, giving away stuff that someone else actually had to provide. But there was other spin today. Real wages finally have gone up for the first year in almost 3 years.
Real wages growth is back in our economy even sooner than we expected. This means that Australians are earning more, and because of our tax cuts, they will keep more of what they earn.
And it's true, the growth in wages in the past year was finally higher than the growth in inflation by a massive 0.1%. Well, think of it perhaps like this. Your wages might have gone up, let's say $2,000 more this year. Beauty. And this time inflation took only $1,980 of those $2,000, leaving you, do the maths, with $20 up on the year, $20. Don't spend it all at once. And you won't. Because here's the spin. Real wages went up by the tiniest amount. So why are you actually feeling poorer? Well, check this out. It's because you have the money you've got left over to spend has actually crashed, says the Bureau of Statistics. What's called your disposable income has gone backwards by more than 6% over the year, the worst result in the OECD, the richer countries around. And that's because this disposable income is what's left after the government has also taken tax off you, which is more than ever because of bracket creep, and the rise in mortgage interest rates. That's really cut the money left in people's hands. And I'll tell you something else that's cost you. Those green lies by global warming extremists in this very same government. Or indeed in my local idiot council, Mornington, like Steve Price said on the show last night. It's now announced it's got a great plan to reduce energy costs for me and my neighbours. But by reduce energy costs, it actually means it will increase our rates, make our electricity even more expensive de facto if we don't buy solar panels for our roofs. Now, Bowen, our federal climate change and energy minister, has tried the very same trick himself to force us to buy more electric cars. Like this one, that costs more than $100,000, just right for any tradie, right? $100,000. And to do that is impose a new vehicle emissions standard, which he claims will save about $1,000 per year per car. Whoopee-doo, but it's again a con. I think Bowen actually has no idea what save actually means, because the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries estimates his U-tax is going to instead drive up the price of our most popular car, the Ford Ranger, by $6,000. And the Liberals reckon the Toyota Land Cruiser, that's going to be $25,000 more. Now, this new U-tax is going to do that by putting a cap on the total emissions of all the cars each car company sells, and then ratcheting it down, to get cuts down the track. And that is to force these companies to sell more electric cars and fewer cheap gassy models so they don't go over their cap, because then they'll have to pay essentially fines. So, if you're actually going to then buy, say, one of these electric cars that Bowen wants you to get, well, more fool you, because it's not just much more expensive to buy or to insure or to fix. Car Expert recently drove two top-of-the-range BMWs, one electric, one petrol, from Melbourne to Sydney, and found not only did the electric version actually cost an extra $70,000 to buy, it also needed 2 hours more on this trip to recharge. The petrol car didn't need to stop once. And it cost $17 more to charge the electric car for the trip than it did to fill the petrol car. It was actually more expensive. And it's this kind of green fakery that's also helping to make us all poorer too. So, standard of living is going down, not up. And it's time you called out the spin of the politicians trying to hide that fact.